Good morning, Grindstone family. Today we are on our sixth stop on the road to Calvary as we prepare for the Easter season together. As we learned in our previous lesson, Jesus knew, he was completely aware at all times that he was going to be killed, that it was the purpose of his life to go to the cross for us. He came to earth for that very reason, so that our sin problem could be dealt with. The story that we are about to read took place exactly 1 week and 1 day before Jesus died. Now remember, Jesus is fully aware that this is something that was going to happen to him. And it kind of makes you think, as Jesus was coming up to this time in his life where he knew that he was going to die, what was going on in his mind, or how did he feel about this as he was about to have some dinner with some of his closest friends? And we're going to read a chapter from John chapter 12 today that gives us a glimpse of what was happening in Jesus' life a week before he knew he was going to die. This is from John chapter 12, verses 1 to 11. It says, 6 days before the Passover celebration began, Jesus arrived in Bethany, the home of Lazarus, the man he had raised from the dead. A dinner was prepared in Jesus' honor. Martha served, and Lazarus was among those who ate with him. Then Mary took the 12-ounce jar of expensive perfume made from the essence of nard, and she anointed Jesus' feet with it, wiping his feet with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance. But Judas Iscariot, the disciple who would soon betray him, said, "That perfume was worth a year's wages. It should have been sold and the money given to the poor." Not that he cared for the poor, he was a thief, and since he was in charge of the disciples' money, he often stole for himself. Jesus replied, "Leave her alone. She did this in preparation for my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me." When all the people heard of Jesus' arrival, they flocked to see him and also to see Lazarus, the man Jesus had raised from the dead. Then the leading priests decided to kill Lazarus too, for it was because of him that many people had deserted them and believed in Jesus. Now, Jesus knew that this perfume was like Mary's whole bank account. It was all that she had. She was saying to Jesus, "I love you so much, Jesus. I love you that you've paid for my sin. I love you that you've given me this completely new start in life. I want to give you everything, even my most precious possession." Now, do you think that Jesus wants us to give anything to him? Because we see, even at this point, that Jesus has placed a complete willingness to give everything for us, to give everything for those who love him. Now, what do you think that might be? When we consider what Jesus did for us during this week, one of the things that's very clear is that Jesus did not hold anything back when it came to dying on the cross to secure our freedom from personal sin and from eternal hell. And our memory verse this week speaks of the everything that Jesus was willing to give for us. From 1 Peter 3:18, it says this, "Christ suffered for our sins, and once for all time. He never sinned, but he died for sinners to bring you home safely to God." Jesus gave absolutely everything he had for us. And now we give everything that we have for him and to him. For our activity this week, look at the circle, and on this circle we see the bottle of perfume that's on it. This reminds us that Mary gave everything that she had. Mary gave her absolutely very best thing that she had to Jesus out of appreciation for who he is and what he did for her. And the song that we're looking at this week that helps us to reflect on how all of our sins have been forgiven, how they've been forgiven once for all time, like this verse in Peter just said, is a song that's by Crowder. It's called "All My Hope Is in Jesus." He is our hope in this life. He is our hope in the next life that we have as well too. And we worship him, we celebrate him, we're thankful for him this week because he gave literally everything he had for us. So this new hope, so this new life could happen for us. Well, I want to commend that song to you. There's other songs that are floating around as well too that are going to be attached on each of our videos, because we want to make this a time that's one of worship, and because each of us, we contemplate this, we work through this in different ways. But as we do this, my prayer for you is that we really are prepared in our hearts. We really are fired up in our hearts with worship and appreciation and thanks, in the same way that Mary did for everything that Jesus did for us. So thanks for checking this video out. We'll see you back here soon as we keep walking on the road to Calvary together.